And right now, there are two options for SKIDA. Pwede sila mag-deny ng Galio if they do not want to fight up against a Camille-Galio combo. But they could also opt to go for the Maokai. But Galio is much more favorable for them kasi pag kinalaban nila ang Camille at Galio, delikado na agad ang magiging sitwasyon.
It's a great starting pick, and at the same time, it is a deny pick as well. So parang you're hitting two birds with one stone. You like the flexibility na nanggagaling sa isang Galio. So that means you're getting actual value dito sa pili ng Galio na ito. Ang tanong lang ngayon is sino yung kapares niya? Sino yung katandem niya na mapipili doon sa second pick nila dito for our first setup and the Varus. Ito yung mga nabibigyan niya ng opening kasi napakahirap biyakin ng frontline.
Straight out of the gate, Varus kaagad ang pinili ng SKIDA. Very unexpected because traditionally from what we see from the second pick, Ezreal yung nagiging priority as that flexibility of mobility with that an Ezreal has, and that will give an opening for SSE. Sinabi natin yung Maokai kanina, since pinili ng SKIDA ang Galio, napunta din naman ang Maokai to the side of SSE and Vladimir to finish it off for SKIDA for the first rotation.
Gusto ko yung ginawa dito ng SSE na pumili sila agad ng Maokai. Alam naman natin na yung Varus doesn't have that mobility. Kaya niyang gumawa ng damage from a very long range. But at the same time, kapag ka naipit mo siya, wala siyang masyadong option into just running away, dashing away doon sa Nature's Grasp. So, still a very good pick. But for SKIDA, ito yung mga picks na talagang ginagawa dito ni Efren Bata Reyes. Alam mo naman, si Efren Bata Reyes, mainit yung dugo niya. Kumbaga, kumukulo ang dugo niya. Kaya naman na Vladimir ang pipiliin niya dito. And they're really expecting more bruisers, more tanky champions dito for the side of SSE.
Yeah, well, I mean, while Helios is one of the most flexible players in the Rift when it comes to mid lane champions. Kaya nilabas yung Renekton, yung Gwen, nilabas yung Camille and Fiora before in the mid lane as well. But Vladimir, as you have mentioned, is much more prioritized here for the side of SKIDA. But with the Gwen, with the Viego bans, they want to target these mid laners and these junglers away for SSE. Ayaw nila bigyan ng enough room sila Aker makagalaw here in the Rift. Along with Nymeria, since itong dalawang players na to, yung wala pang champion.
Ngayon walang Lee Sin, walang Renekton, walang Viego, walang Gwen. So, ang dating talaga kasi dito is ayaw din nilang ma-chip down ng todo-todo yung Galio in the early stages. Alam naman natin, Magic is somewhat painful talaga in terms of scaling, na kapag kayo yung tumama sa'yo into the early stages of the game, you really need those MR items to, negate some of that. At baka yun yung maging flaw ng isang Galio dito. But, at the same time, eto din yung ine-expect natin kay SKIDA. Ngayon na nakita na nila yung mga picks na ito, pwede silang kumuha ng isang Kha'Zix, but may answer ngayon si SSE. Alam naman natin yung capability ng isang Lissandra, kaya niyang ipang-save yung kanyang ultimate, kaya niya din niyang humuli gamit ang kanyang ultimate.
Huli, the exact term that we're looking for, because we all know, in terms of ADC champion pool, ang pinaka mababa na mobility and survivability in terms of that flexibility ay isang Varus. So pag merong Lissandra dito, mabilis manghuli, kasama na ng isang Hecarim, which is one of the fastest and mobile champions in the jungle right now. So yung sa side ng SKIDA naman, on the pick of Kha'Zix, this is double-edged sword because they need a frontline, and Jax is exactly what they need in terms of filling in the defensive capability netong composition.
Okay, they're getting ready for that top lane matchup against the Camille. Nakikita naman natin ngayon kung ano yung clash lane, mag-itsura ng clash lane natin, and you need that extra evasion and solid damage din na nagagaling sa isang Jax. But then again, yung kailangan natin tignan dito is yung Hecarim. Ngayon na sinabi na nga natin na napaka-solid ng frontline nila, which is the Jax, the Vladimir, and the Galio. What you need to do is to create chaos doon sa may harapan. If you utilize your ultimate, kaya mo ma-free lahat, at least there is some ample amount of time for possibly Alessandra, possibly a Maokai to go to the backline, try to burst down somebody, then wala na sila magiging reaction doon. And Hecarim is great as well from catching the Varus kasi, alam mo yun, mabilis din naman siya makapunta doon eh. Mabilis din naman yung mobility niya eh.
Yeah, and yun yung gusto kong term, mabilis. Because if we're looking at a composition of SSE, very straightforward, very simple. Ano ba ang gagawin nila dito? Front to back, you have Camille, you have Hecarim, all go kaagad ang kanilang composition. So that is expected of them, full on engage ang kanilang magiging playstyle for this game number 1.
Para sa akin, for the side of SKIDA, kailangan maglaro ng perfect game dito ng Varus. I don't see Varus surviving dito every single time na may tatalon sa kanya. There is a lot of problems para sa kanya, pero if he plays a perfect game dito, this could be a statement na hindi sila push over dito para sa side ng SSE.
For sure. And there is still that caveat for the side of SKIDA naman.
Ano
Kasi
naman?
meron silang Chain of Corruption that can deny that all-in engage. Meron
tama.
silang Galio for the Shield of Duran that can be a little bit of that sponge. But sabi mo, there's a lot of these crowd controls for the side of SSE that can still be that threat without any mobility for Avar. So they have to keep watch. They have to put their eyes on to these carries. They have to put their eyes on their bot laner.
And definitely, a lot of things to consider para dito sa side ng SKIDA, but katulad nga ng sinabi mo, they do have the protection that comes out from the Galio. They do have their own damage dealer na pwedeng pumunta dun sa may backline, try to take down somebody, take down the Ez probably, then just win from there. So, I feel like in terms of the draft, straightforward naman yung gustong gawin ng dalawa. They have adjustment picks sa isa't isa kung paano gagawin. Pero I really feel like yung nadadala ng Hecarim doon sa pilian, yun talaga para sa akin yung parang opening na pwedeng magawa dito ng side ng SSE.
It's like, if you're comparing a sword and a shield, kasi dito, pag titingnan natin, SSE is more of a sword. They're really just going all in. Even Lissandra is going for an all in. SKIDA more, they have to play on that shield side. Vladimir more on that safety with a blood pool. You have the Galio, you have these Chain of Corruptions. You also have the Counter-Strike coming in from the Jax. So pretty much, SSE versus SKIDA is a sword and shield matchup here in Game 1.
At dito, si Efren Bata Reyes, talagang harapan sila ni Aker dito. And sinabi nga natin, one of the very best to do it. Alam naman natin yung pangalan dito kahit Efren Bata. Alam natin kung sino talaga tong player na ito. At kahit ganyan, sabihin na natin one of the very best to do the mid lane. And Aker, he's taking the fight dito kay Efren Bata.
Yeah, and pretty much itong matchup na to in the mid lane, it's not something na really have to focus on these players, but just the strength of these two individually and mechanically is super strong. Aker, generally with the Lissandra, could just play it safe in back lines because of his capability to go in and out of fights, and along with Vladimir na may kasamang Blood Pool. Pero Chicken Enjoyer, napatumba ka agad.
Tonte utilizing yung kanyang Ignite, yung kanyang Flash just to take down etong Jax, and you know that there is going to be consequences doon sa nangyari kay Chicken Joyer. Chicken Joyer. Iba na yung basa ko sa pangalan niya. Ang daming ways para basahin yung pangalan ni Chicken Joyer eh.
Oo, kasi mahilig siya sa manok. Wala namang manok pa dito.
Mahilig sila manok. Yun na lang yun.
Oo, yun na yun. Pero,
ito gumamit na ng ultimate. Efren Bata dito gumamit ng Blood Pool. But then again, there is not going to be an Ignite. So hindi rin talaga ma-all out dito ng isang Lissandra against a Vladimir. But Nymeria, umaharap na din siya dito kay Fate 1. He knows that he is tanky. Hindi din siya mababawasan basta-basta ni Fate 1. Kaya naman, ang tapang talaga ng dating niya dito ngayon.
And on top of that, may level disadvantage. Tonte right now, level 6. Kanina, Chicken Enjoyer and Fate 1, level 5 pa lang nung encounter na yun. So they have to pay respects towards that. They do not need to go for that all-in fight, especially considering may ulti din si Tonte nung laban na yun, nung moments na yun. So really, just this huge amount of respect has to be given.
And Chicken Joyer staying back in the lane. There is a 1 level gap between these two players. Pero alam mo, yung mga 1 level gap na yan, it could be very detrimental, lalong-lalo na sa laro ng Wild Rift.
For sure. At ngayon, at this point, with Jax being more of a defensive champion rather than that attack and a flexible champion na nakita natin way back in the past in a couple of years' time, ngayon magiging frontline na lang si Jax. He will be the one that will pretty much be the sponge for the whole team alongside with the Galio. But at this point, with the amount of advantage na nakukuha ni Tonte, medyo mahirap to na magaganap. Kasi Tonte, if this continues to happen in top side of the map, SKIDA not looking that great in terms of that front line.
400% confident daw ang SSE na kaya nila talunin yung SKIDA. At yung SKIDA naman, 1% lang daw yung chance ng SSE na matalo sila. Sino nga ba ang nagsabi ng totoo? Sino ang nagsabing totoo dito sa dalawan to? SSE, ngayon, it's just a matter of time till they actually group up, utilize yung lamang na meron sila ngayon, and try to overcome na dito yung mga members sa side ng SKIDA.
Walk the talk.
Walk the talk na nga.
Sino ang makakapag panalo sa kanilang mga labanan dito sa game number 1 here in the semifinals. But we called it a while ago. We were discussing, ano ba magaganap dito sa semifinals? You mentioned as well, this has the potential to go to a marathon of 5 games here in the semifinals, considering that these are two of the best teams ngayon sa Wild Rounds Pilipinas.
And SSE, nasa harapan na sila dito
Disaster.
ngayon. They actually try to take down dito yung Galio, but Galio will just get out. Pero nagamit niya na yung kanyang flash. Pero ngayon yung turret nandito. But Chicken Joyer trying to take down na yung Miria. Pero look at that. The ulti coming out from the Galio. At nakikita naman natin si Chicken Joyer. Buhay pa rin. Talagang nilalabanan niya. Si Fate 1 dito nananakbo. And Tactical will secure that kill. Na yung Miria tumatakbo at hindi nila papayagan to. But ang good news para SKIDA, sila ang nakakuha ng objective.
For sure, the objective goes to the side of SKIDA, pero 2-for-1 trade din. So really, it's a eye for an eye, a tooth for the tooth dito sa laban na naganap in terms of that objective. And so far, SSE still building that stronghold of foundation of gold, a foundation of items na magaganap. And SSE, if this continues, mas mahirapan si SKIDA dito considering of what we mentioned kanina na sobrang straightforward din naman ang lineup ng SSE kung saan front to back ang pwede nilang gawin at matutunaw na lang ang SKIDA.
What I really feel about that take doon sa turret is ito yung kasi yung kailangan ng side ng SKIDA eh. We do know that somewhat Vlad and Varus wants to scale up, wants to get yung mga lethality, wants to get yung mga pure damage output na pwede nilang kunin dito. But then again, you have to know na that is just step 1 doon sa kanilang plano. What about the other steps? May mga disaster na din na nangyari sa kanila. Nakuha na sila ng 2 kill. Pero ngayon, dahil nga sa pag-take na ng objective, kahit papano ay hindi makaka-arriba at hindi makaka-snowball basta-basta dito. Yung side ng SSE, that is good for them.
Yeah, hindi ganun kabilis, for sure. Because you also have a lot of utility to consider para sa side ng SKIDA. We have been talking this time and time again, even during the draft phase, na marami pa rin utility, marami pa rin crowd control that SKIDA has. Hindi mo kaagad mapapatumbayan si Efren Bata Reyes gawa ng blood pool. Hindi mo kaagad mapapantumba si Chicken Enjoyer along with Galio. But right now, SKIDA.
At masyado atang usumasin dito. Yung side ng SKIDA, mahuhuli na dito isang miyembro. And that's going to be the Galio down. Wala nang engage pa. Kakarating lang dito ni Chicken Joyer, at mukhang kailangan niya umakyat doon kasi nag-disengage bigla yung SSE.
Filipino time.
The Filipino time, oo.
Medyo na-late siya ng onti doon sa labanan na yun, sa kaganapan. And SSE with Jax using the Hextech Gate into the right quadrant jungle. Ngayon, may free reign si Tonte na bumasag ng Torre.
And they will take that turret and very costly Hextech Gate doon para sa isang Jax na wala din naman siyang napala in the end. But at the same time, it was a very nice call coming out from SSE na nasayang nila yung paggamit na yun.
It was a coin flip at the end of the day for Chicken Enjoyer. If he did not come through, hindi niya alam na hindi mag-all-in si SSE. Hindi niya alam na mabag-back away sila. But at the cost of Tonte having that free reign on top side of the lane. And this is what money advantage gives you. This is what gold advantage leads your team to do. Full confidence across the board. And right now, 3K gold lead na ng SSE. Hindi pa to tapos ng labanan as we're just approaching the mid-game.
Ano mo yung build ng Varus Reaver, Executioners. Talagang ano lang Talagang, tamang ano lang tamang alalay lang siya into the early stages. Sabi niya, ito muna yung bubuhin kong items. Yung Essence Reaver is a much needed item. But then again, yung Executioners, para meron kang ambag dun sa early stages. Natatanggal mo yung regeneration, yung recovery na nagagawa dito. Especially for Aker, pag ginamit mo sa kanya yung ultimate niya, there's chance na malaki pa yung buhay na bumalik sa kanya.
And may isa pa akong gustong sabihin dito for the side of SKIDA. Yung composition kasi nila, marami ding wave clear. Meron kang Vladimir, meron kang Varus, so it's not that easy to counter them. It's not that easy to bring them down. Aside from sinabi natin kanina na crowd control nyo.
In terms of late game scaling, sino tingin mong possible na talagang mag-harry dito? Do you think both teams have the late game scaling na gusto nila, or does one team have an advantage pagdating sa aspetong yun?
I feel like in this aspect, I think SSE still has it in the bag. Kasi alam natin, sure, Vladimir can scale, Jax can scale, Varus can scale, but SSE side right now is an all-in.
Oh, pero actually, a very nice toss back doon para dito sa ating Maokai. And as you're seeing, na disaster na ang mga members dito na side ng SKIDA. They really wanted to turn things around. Pero kahit nagamit yung flash, nakuha pa rin yung kill just because buo din yung loob dito na side ng SSE kasi nga wala nang turret doon.
Ang bilis kasi nila. Yun yung problema. SSE, Onslaught of Shadows, close kaagad yung distance. Tante, now in danger.
And as you're seeing, Chicken Joyer, may kalamang na siya dito against kay Tonte.
Na-build niya na yung Divine Thunder and he was able to close the gap a bit. Right, from a 400 gold deficit, ngayon 200 gold deficit. 200 gold na lang ang nagkulang, tapos nabasag niya pa ang Torre, and now it is break even. Chicken Joyer from that deficit, from that lag behind kanina, nabawi niya agad, and now he is on the forefront for the side of SKIDA. Pero hindi pa rin natin pwedeng i-belittle ang 4K gold lead na meron ng SSE.
I'm here though, onto the bottom lane, and it feels to me like gusto nila talagang kunin na tong bottom lane turret na to because this only tier 1 turret, but at the same time, there is also the dragon that's gonna come out in just a few seconds. At ayan na, lumabas na siya. He is very much alive, ang Ocean Drake.
Cause and effect lang to kung sino makakuha ng tier 1 turret in the bot, that will give them an advantage, but there's not enough time!
Nandun na sa may likod. Pero Chicken Joyer, napakatibay ng mukha. But the ultimate coming up from Nymeria! Grabe! Lahat na daanan! SSE! Cleaning up shop! At Efren Bata Reyes, sinubukan niyang labanan. Pero grabe talaga yung damage output. Nymeria went down, but took 5 members with him.
SSE in the forefront of this win, the precipice of their advantage. Nakita natin gaano kasimple ang plano ng SSE sa kanilang pagkapanalo in that team fight alone. Nymeria goes in with the ultimate. You have to follow through from Disaster with the Nature's Grass, and Tante, Acker, and Tactical will clean house. And SSE gets 2 turret out from that as well.
Yun yung nakikita, yun yung sinasabi natin kanina, creating chaos even onto the backline. Kapag hindi na-account for ng SKIDA yung kanilang position, it's a very easy job para sa isang Hecarim.
Yeah. And ito pa, isa pang caveat and one of the hindrances din para kay Fate 1. Alam natin, malakas si Kha'Zix in terms of that isolation fight, in terms of assassinating targets. Pero sino ang target niya dito? Si Tactical lang ang kaya-kaya niya patumbahin.
Pero right now, nakikita natin yung Galio, nilalabanan niya talaga lahat. Pero it's just way too much damage. Masyado talagang mataas. He cannot react doon sa ginagawa dito ng side ng SSE. Talaga nababadibag dito si Galio.
Yeah, and at this point, SKIDA, kanilang gusto na lang gawin is to go for that side lane push. Pero si Fate 1 napatumba agad ng SSE. No jungler, SSE has free reign on the Baron.
And they might just have to give this up. Andun si Chicken Joyer sa may baba. They do not have the numbers. Galio is down. Kha'Zix is down as well. So that's going to be the buff and the T-Hex going to the side of SSE. And ang tanong ngayon is, kaya ba ng SKIDA na i-defend dumefend laban sa isang T-Hex? They're very good with katulad sa mo kanina, good sila with wave clear. Pero ang T-Hex hindi basta-basta na wave clear ito eh.
Di agad-agad mapapatumba yan. And I think they still have that chance, but SSE has the opportunity para makakuha ng inhibitor turret. I think that's the main goal.
At Lissandra ang hawak niyan. They do not have that ultimate, but look at the laser. Napakasakit. And with that, mabilis na tutumba yung third tower dito sa may mid.
Yeah. And that is the main goal. SSE was able to take it down. And now, dahil nakuha nila yung inhibitor turret in the mid lane, natural lane pressure na magaganap in favor for SSE. Especially we're talking about the mid lane. So full map control na dito for the side of SSE. And now they're looking for more.
And they just want to take down all outer turrets. Meron pang isa doon sa may baba. Pero right now, they're looking to engage. Nandun sa may likod, Nymeria with the ultimate. At yung mga shields coming from SKIDA, ang kakapal!
Nymeria naghahabol sa ibaba at nakapitas pa ng isa. Helios is gone and now SKIDA with 4 members remaining will try to defend.
Buong-buo pa rin ang T-Hex dito. Nilaser na yung base. Paano mo lalabanan to? Chicken Joyer goes down and that is game number 1.
Napakabilis, napakasimple ng plano, and SSE now on the advantage in the semifinals. What a showing of their comp, what a showing of their mechanical skills dito sa semifinals.
Iniisip natin kung paano gagawin kapag kunyari na wave clear lang, nade-delay yung laban. Pero there is this factor na kapag nakuha yung Baron yan, T-Hex na yan, it goes all the way. Yes, they have good minion wave clear, pero kung tutuusin, kapag kakalaban mo na yung T-Hex, kaya mo ba talaga? Nakita natin doon na hindi nila kinaya.
Yeah, hindi nila kinaya. I think it was not enough. The gap was just too much. 5k gold lead or even more at that point. Yung nababasag na yung inhib turret and they were just putting a lot of pressure. Especially considering Nymeria naka-heka rin pa na napakabilis. At nakita din na naman natin on that dragon objective. Triple kill para kay Nymeria. And at that point, there was no stopping this player. I mean, look at the gold lead in comparison to the rest of the crew and to the rest of his enemies. It's pretty much like 2k gold lead at the mid-game to the end.
Meron talagang sariling mundo dito si Nymeria and I feel like that level of play na pinapakita niya ngayon, it's just a statement na gustong-gusto niya mag-champion dito sa Wild Rounds Pilipinas Open. That Hecarim pick, Chef's Kiss, ang ganda ng pagkakagamit. Kasi nga, nung time na ang dami, may mga Galio, may mga Vladimir, may mga, ang kukunat may mga Jax, ang kukunat. Yun lang pala yung kailangan. Gumawa ka lang ng fear doon sa loob. Gumawa ka lang ng chaos, i-disposition mo lang lahat. And that also means na wala na silang time to react just because of the damage na meron kay Lissandra, meron pang ulti na pwedeng gamitin to catch somebody. So, alam mo yon, it creates so much space for everybody. And talagang deserve niya yung deserve niya. Para sa akin, kung may MVP man tayo dito sa game na to, deserve niya yun eh.
Yeah, for sure. And overall, yung comp nila is just bread and butter, peanut butter and jelly. Isipin mo na kung anong gusto mo. It's really just a good composition that really reflects on what their playstyle wants to do. All in aggression, very simple, and straight out of the gate on those 5v5s.
And guys, kahit yung Camille di ba? Yung Camille, hindi mo na nga masyado nakikita yung Camille dahil sa mga plays na ginagawa dito. But for sure, yun din yung isa sa mga iniiwasan dito ni Varus.
Oo. Eh, hindi pwede siyang Hextech ultimatum and at that point, it's just disastrous afterwards. And I think at this point, it's going back into the drafting board. Anong pwede maging picks? Anong pwede maging bans of these both teams coming down into the next game? Because surely, this is not the end. There's still a chance for them to make it back.
Alam mo, yung 400% confidence na meron dito, yung mga members ng side ng SSE is actually 33.33% sure. Kasi kailangan nila ng 3 games pa eh. Statistics pa yan eh. Kailangan pa nila patunayan ng 2 beses. So that, sure tayo na 400% nga at sila ang makapunta doon sa ating Grand Finals. But for this game, yung para mapag-usapan pa ng ating hosts dito, syempre, nanood yung mga yan eh. Ang babangis yan eh. E pasa muna natin kay Nonchalant at kay OA. Alaysa